I like fishing. There's a certain meditative quality to it, just you, a rod, and a relaxing beat of the natural world. Fishing with friends is actually even better. That meditative experience is one of the few that can be enjoyed with others more than anything. Rod, Reel, and Fist is a fishing tabletop game, one that I take a step back with and ask, but why? Luckily enough, Fist of the Fish Star isn't actually a fishing game. It's a anime fishing game. Well, the game would really like to tell you that it is by its cover and opening, base setting, though most of the other artwork and presentation make it seem like a pretty settingless and kind of horrible entity. But what is this game? What is it in reality? Well, it's a D6 game, a 1d6 game. Just beat the target number. That's it. Some options allow you to add more dice, allowing you to hit a higher target number than 6. The more dice that come up with the same number, you then add them together by the number of times it was rolled for your final result. Congratulations, you now know how to play Miss Sakana's Fishman. But then we get to the exhaustion and stress mechanics, as this game doesn't actually have HP or anything, but stress builds up during encounters, while exhaustion is gained by either failing encounters or getting a bit messed up. Both of these do the exact same thing though. They increase the target number by 1. So a standard roll of 3 becomes a target number of 4. And they do stack, resulting in 1 exhaustion, 1 stress, making a simple TN3 into a hard TN5. Stress dissipates at the end of an encounter, but exhaustion requires a full rest to dissipate. However, you only have a few of these rests per scenario, meaning that a few bad rolls can mean absolute failure. The fishers themselves choose a type and their nature. Most of the types fall into useful to afterthought tier, as raw bonuses will always surpass situational ones by their nature, while your nature dictates bonuses to using specific gambits during an encounter. Then you choose some basic equipment to round yourself out, which also falls into the scale of gimmick versus stability. But we're here for fishing, so what's fishing actually like? It's a bit underwhelming actually. Every odd numbered round, the fish picks a target number between 1 and 7. On even numbered rounds, the fisher picks a number between 1 and 6. Both will roll their chosen value, and if you succeed, nothing happens. If you fail, then one of you is going to have to make a hang-on test. Whoever fails that hang-on test at the target number 3 after acquiring a point of stress, which actually technically makes a target number 4, you actually just fail and lose the fight immediately. That's it. This is a 288-page book with a grand total of 1.5 pages dedicated to the basic fishing combat, unless you choose to have the advanced combat, adding in the gambit mechanic, which you have a rock, paper, scissors to determine a -2 dice penalty to their stand firm rolls, making it easier to get into the hang-on test phase, or straining, which is a bit of a quid pro quo of dice to mitigate one another's dice pools, or tagging in, which cripples your ability to do things due to having to stress before you even begin. And yes, animal combat, the fist part of Rod, Reel, and Fist, works the exact same way, except adding a layer of if and or maybe but perhaps to the entire affair to make it so much more fun. And yes, it is awful for multiple combatants. So how do you mitigate all of this stress, all of these problems of fish-based nightmares? Chugging snacks, actually. Most of the nuance of the game comes from chugging snacks mid-combat, as snacks not only give you an additional die, they can mitigate stress for a roll. So the optimal strategy for fishing and bear combat is actually eating jelly donuts. The techniques do help mix things up a bit and fix some things, but at the end of the day, they still rely on this core system to just do everything. The Fishieri's fish do add some flavor, but for every non-memed fish, there's this half-baked attempt at humor, and their effects kind of all fall flat when you realize they are tied to the advanced combat systems, most of them, as well as the sit and chug snacks mechanic. When the optimal strategy to win most encounter is delay until they die, there's a distinct set of malaise that comes over the game. Even the legendary fish fail to really give a fun mix to the combat, with one quite literally being a fourth wall breaking meme more than an actual final fight. And speaking of memes, most of the extras are odd additions like a tower defense minigame, a full roguelike method of play, and even some bonus settings which are all just there. Fisting Fish and Other Delusions is a game focused on the fact that it is a fishing RPG without really being a fishing RPG. It's a game that really wants to pretend it's something bigger than what it is, then run with the money once it's sold you a boot instead of a bass. My name is Notepad, and this was Rod, Reel, and Fist. If you like what I do here, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Happy fishing, and have a lovely rest of the day.